Hey guys, Malone here with another video about magic. For some of you guys that might not know it, there are groups of people in the world that take time to learn magic tricks. For virgins, am I right? Well, today's video is going to be a little ditty about one of magic's most prolific figures, Harry Houdini. This is the story of how a humble Canadian fellow fooled one of magic's greats. And in the end of the video, I'll even show you how you too can fool Houdini. Whoever thought anything good would ever come out of Canada, right? So good. So a little bit of context here. Dai Vernon is one of the most important figures in close-up magic. He invented most of what is taken for granted today in terms of card sleights and tricks. Now, Harry Houdini was one of the most public figures in magic, doing death-defying escapes as well as clever illusions worldwide. For a small part in his career, Houdini billed himself as the king of cards, showing his technical abilities with cards in many posters and early video. Now, whereas Houdini portrayed himself in posters and early video as being this wizard with card moves and card sleights, his card skills were actually bitch made. He had very little technical knowledge of card sleights, which is where our humble professor Dai Vernon came in and did the 1919 equivalent of dabbing on that hoe, where he fooled Houdini with a very simple card trick. So the story goes as follows. Houdini was very well known to have a challenge to magicians where he would claim that he could figure out any magic trick presented to him, only needing to see the trick 3 times, and he will definitely be able to tell you exactly how it was accomplished. Now remember, this was 1919 and not 2018, where everyone knows everything about absolutely everything just because you saw a couple YouTube videos. At the Great Northern Hotel in Chicago, Dai Vernon had an opportunity to show Harry a card trick. He had Harry name any card in the deck, and Harry Houdini happened to have named the 4 of diamonds. Vernon then had him write his initials on the card. This is where Vernon made Houdini his complete and total bitch. He took the card, much like this one, and very openly put it second from the top of the deck. He talked about second dealing and dealing from the bottom of the deck to give an advantage during card play. Vernon didn't do any moves whatsoever, but with a wave of his hands, he was able to show that card to have come right back to the top of the deck. No moves, nothing whatsoever. He then repeated this same trick 7 times in a row for the increasingly frustrated Houdini. Houdini couldn't figure out how seemingly this Canadian man, this toonie-using individual, was able to take a card with his initials, cleanly place it second from the top of the deck, wave his hands over, not do a single move, and yet have that card come directly to the top of the deck. Houdini was frustrated beyond comprehension. Vernon then took the card, placed it in the middle openly, just like this, and that card, again, with no moves whatsoever, came directly to the top. You can smell the waft of making someone your total bitch from here. Now you may be sitting there next to your bag of Cheetos and your adult-sized Mountain Dew, wondering how this could have fooled anyone. It didn't fool you, and you're like an expert or whatever. But this was 1919. They barely knew about plastic. Now, there are a lot of different accounts when it comes to the trick that Vernon actually showed Houdini, and most of them are wrong. Some of them go off to show more complicated ways where Vernon was able to apparently stick the card this way in the middle of the deck, wave his hands over and show the card to have come to the top that way. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. So I'm going to show you here what most people tend to agree took place that day. Also, directly from the Tim Horton man himself.
I'll do this very slowly. This is exactly as I did it for Houdini. Now there's the card. There's only one card like that in the world with your initials on, right? The 10 of spades. Now, I'm not going to do anything elaborate. I'm just going to put that 10 underneath the top card like that. That's all. Now, without any movement of any kind, I'll deal it off the top again. Now watch this closely. There's the 10. There's only one 10 there. The one with your initials. I put it right underneath the top card. Now, this is known as second dealing. See, I deal the card, but it's really the second card.
So for this trick, you're going to need a card to be selected by the spectator, hopefully with their initials written on it to prove that there's only one of these in the entire world. And also, you're going to need a double-backed card. This is a special card made for magical purposes that comes standard with most decks nowadays. And that's really it. Back in his day, very little was known about special cards like this, and Houdini didn't seem to have the knowledge of its use for this trick, which is why it ended up blasting him like one of those adult films your grandmother likes to watch in her days off from intercourse. So this trick is very, very simple. All you're going to do is take this double back card and place it on top of the deck. And that's pretty much it. You have any card picked. You have any card with the spectator that they write their initials if you want them to match the atmosphere of this Houdini fooling story. You're going to take this card and very openly place it second from the top of the deck as you talk about bottom dealing or center dealing, and you're going to do a magician's move known as the pinky break. That's all that's happening here. So I'm placing this card second from the top of the deck very openly. As I score it up, I'm using the little fatty portion of my pinky. So the little nub that people take for granted in your pinky, I'm actually using it to hold the separation between those two cards and the rest of the deck. And now comes another move in the magic lore known as the double lift. So you're gonna lift two cards as one. You see that? That's when it's done very well, because that gives the illusion that you're just turning over the top card. Really, you're turning over two cards. But see, because of the double backer, I can now spread this card and very cleanly show that it's directly on top of the deck. So let's imagine that I didn't have that double back card and I was inserting this card second from the top of the deck. I got my pinky break. I did my double lift where I'm lifting two cards as one. When I went to show this card, you notice that you see a face there. You see a face that's not supposed to be there. That's not good for this trick. So that's why we're using our double backer. So we're going to take this card. We're going to very openly insert it second from the top of the deck. We're going to get our pinky break. So we're putting our pinky in there. And now we're going to take these two cards and turn it over as one. There are many fancy ways to do this particular move. If you want to get all technical and virgin-y, you could do a lot of different things. But the simplest thing is to just take these two cards, pinch it so they stay together, and turn it over on top of the deck. Where now you could show the four to have cleanly come directly to the top of the deck. Now here, if you want to do the bonus, what you're going to have to do is as you're showing the four, you're going to get a pinky break below the top card of the deck, just like this. Oh boy, if there was only some sort of conglomerate aggregate of all these card moves that you could learn. Man, if only there was a place where every Tuesday and Thursday you would have a new video that goes over tricks, moves, sleights to take you from an absolute beginner to an expert in magic. Oh boy, what if that thing already existed? The Pigcake Card Academy, son. What? $5 a month gets you access to over 70 videos covering a wide array of card moves? Huh? How are you not aware of this? You could learn all these very easily. There are over 70 videos there already, son. You get a new video every Tuesday and every Thursday going over everything. Boy, if you're not on that, you're really missing out. Well, anyways, you get a pinky break right there. So you're going to get a pinky break as you show the four of diamonds below this double back card. Because now when you place this four of diamonds back on the deck, if I do that same double lift where I turn these two cards over as one, this card is no longer the four, it's now this double back card. So I could very openly place this card into the middle of the deck, very openly square it up, make my magical move, and guess what? I could now show that that card is very cleanly on top of the deck. Oh boy, what a wonderful world we live in. So that's all it took to fool Houdini. Simple as that. And now you too could be the life of the party and, well, fool Houdini if he ever shows up to any shindig that you're a part of. Who would have thought all you would have needed to protect your virginity was a simple gimmicked card? Man. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to do all the things that people do. People tend to subscribe. They tend to like the video. They tend to leave a little bit of a comment All that helps out the algorithm. Makes me look better than I actually am when it comes to the channel. So you should go ahead and do that. I'm going to go figure out different ways to stand over my lawn after cutting it with my hands on my hips and say it's a job well done. It's a job well done.
See you again, when I 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 see you again.